Okay, now is the time for the 2016 O-Level E-Maths Paper 1. So maybe this is the last paper I'm going to do for this year. And honestly, maybe this is the only years, this is the starting of the years that the O-Level gets a little bit more creative lah. So yeah, let's finish the yearly O-Level paper. Question 1. Simplify this. Okay, this wants to be quite easy. I just expand this. I get 6x minus 3 plus by 1, which is 6x minus 2. Factorize 6x plus 18xy. So I just factorize the 6x, put a bracket, 1 plus by 3y. Next, factorize this completely. I'll factorize the common figure. I'll try to pair the a's together. Both of them are divisible by 4 and divisible by a. Put a bracket, x minus by 16 divided by 4 is 4. So then I got 4y. Then the next one here is 3b. Take out 3b. Then I put 4y minus by x. Okay, now 4y minus x and x minus 4y are not exactly the same. However, I can put a negative outside of the 3b, and this will become x minus 4y. Okay, basically what we did is just factorizing the negative sign. Okay, now they are actually common brackets. I just put them together here. Okay, we call this a grouping factorization. Question 3. On the Venn diagram, shade the area that represents A union B complement. Okay, so I'll shade the area of A first, and then I want to shade the area of B complement. Well, that is outside of B. And since this is a union, right, that means to say that everything that I've shaded is actually the answer. Hence, this is the answer. 3b, shade the region of A complement intersect with B complement. Now, A complement is everything outside of A. Now, for B complement, okay, let me use a different color. B complement outside of B, so I'll just shade it in a different direction. Okay. Now, the reason I put it in different direction usually is that because I'm using pencil in the O-Level, so I will not be able to distinguish it between color. Okay, and furthermore, what we are actually trying to find out is where they actually are commonly existing together. Okay, in that case, the area that they actually shaded twice, okay, on the different diagonals is actually this one outside here. The answer is therefore this part that I actually color in pink. Okay, everything outside of the circle A and B. Question 4. Positive integer show that this thing here is a multiple of 20. Okay, I'll need to expand this, but I realized that this is actually a square minus by b square. If I do factorize that, I'll get a plus b, a minus b. Now, the a and the b is actually in terms of bracket, 5n plus 1 and 5n minus 1. Oops. Yeah, and then I just duplicate this, but this time it's a plus. Yeah, so the first bracket, 5n minus 5n, gone. 1 minus negative 1 becomes 2. The second bracket, 5n plus 5n is 10n. 1 plus negative 1 is gone. So I'm left with 20n. And tell them that this is actually a multiple of 20. Okay, because it's 20 times by n, and n is actually a positive integer. Question 5. Liu has 144 1 cm cubes. He arranged all of the cubes into a cuboid. And cuboid here, right, we are not so sure whether it's actually a perfect cube or not. A cuboid is merely just made by rectangles and squares. Okay, we can't assume what exactly it is. Alright, then the perimeter of the top of the cuboid is 22 cm. Each side of the cuboid must be greater than 2 cm. Okay, now I remember this question. A lot of people actually ask me how to do this question. So how do we handle this? I believe that at some point of your time you have played or seen what is a Lego. Okay, I like to think of this like a Lego, piece by piece. Every piece of Lego can attach to each other, and each of the Lego is actually 1 centimeter by 1 centimeter by 1 centimeter. Okay, so it's a cubes. Okay, by the size of 1 times 1 times 1. Now there are actually 144 of them. So I want to break out what is 144 in terms of prime numbers. Okay, this is actually 2 power of 4 multiplied by 3 square. Now why do we need this? I'll tell you about this later on. Okay, now let's go to the perimeter. it is 22 cm. Now, perimeter of a cuboid, okay, meaning to say that the perimeter is actually made by a rectangle or a square. Okay, therefore, I'll say that this is actually a rectangle. Okay, 2a plus by 2b equals to 22. Okay, yeah, a and b are the lengths and the widths of the rectangle. Okay, so then I just think of it that a plus b must be 11. Now, why is this actually important? I will tell you again about it later on. Okay, so let's just put some illustration to make it easier to imagine what's going on. Oopsie, duplicate. Yeah, so this is A and this is B. This is the top of the cuboid. Now, I need to make sure that the cuboid is actually perfect. So it actually has a height all over the place like this. Okay, the height is still not known. I haven't assigned any numbers, so let's just say it's H. Okay, the height is H or C, up to you. Now, the deal is this: the volume of this cuboid equals to 144, and you know that volume is actually A times B times H equals to 144. So you see, right, the way I actually designed the Lego to make this design, right, must make sure that I exhausted every single pieces of 144. All of them must be integers, obviously. So how do we actually get the A, the B, and then the H finally? The question is asking for the height of the cuboid. Now, think about it like this. I can design A, B, and H by anything that I like. Okay, for example, A and B, right, I can design any integers as long as they sum up into 11. So let's just say that, since each of the side of the cuboid must be greater than 2 cm, so maybe I'll guess first by taking A to be 3 cm. Okay, and that means to say that the B must be 8 cm. Now, in that case, how about the H? The H must be 144 divided by 3 times 8. Okay, I mean, it must actually match each other, right? So let's try this. That will give me 6 centimeter. And you know what? I think this is the perfect answer. The height should be 6 centimeter. Now, if you are actually wondering that, okay, maybe this is just a luck guess. What if I try 4 cm? Is there anything weird going to happen? If A is 4 cm, then the B must be 7 cm. Okay, and then this one should be 144 divided by 4 times by 7. Okay, I believe that this is gonna be division of gonna be decimals. Yeah, I'm going to get 5.414 cm. So it doesn't work when you have 4 cm. How about the side to be 5 cm? Okay, in this case, you'll get 6 cm here. So this one is 144 divided by 5 times 6. Well, this is definitely a decimal again. Okay, so that will not be true. And you can keep trying, and none of them are going to give you an integer on the height. Hence, the answer must be 6 cm. So this question here is actually a combination of volume, okay, a little bit of prime numbers, okay, and then also guess and check. A lot of ways you can actually approach this question. This is not the only way. This is just my preferred method to explain this question. Okay. Area of triangle ABC, and then find out the possible size of the angle. Okay. So AB, and then BC. Yeah, you have the length. The area is therefore 58.6 equals to half times by sides multiplied by sine theta, like this. Okay, then you can just make the subject sine theta equals to, yeah, you divide everything there, will be 58.6 divided by 119.68, and you just get your theta. Doing sine inverse, you get number 29.3 degrees. But the question says that there are two answers. Okay, so who are the second answer? Now, this is actually by the Trigo formula. 180 minus theta is also equals to sine of 180 minus theta equals sine theta. So when you are actually doing sine inverse, technically you can assume that there are two answers: the acute angle and the obtuse angle. The other answer is 180 minus by 29.3, 150.7. Question 7. The diagram shows a cone with a height of 30 cm. The volume of the liquid is actually half the volume of the cone. So volume of the water divided by the volume of the cone is actually 1/2. Okay. Then they say that find out the depth. Okay. So if you want to find the height or the length, what you need to do is actually to cube root the ratio that you are having here. Okay. So I can say that the height of the water is h and the container is actually 30. So I got 1 over cube root of 2 equals h over 30. You get the value of h as 30 divided by cube root of 2. And then you just need to press calculator. You got 23.8. Okay, next question. State one aspect that the graph is misleading. Okay, tell them that the size of the sticker here, this is technically a pictogram, okay, technically, is actually really misleading because it can be interpreted as the height. You can tell that they actually put a height here 1200. However, on the same time, it also can be interpreted as the ratio of the area. Okay, so these are the actually even two aspects that you actually can mention to them. Okay, why it's actually misleading. Is it the height or is it the size of the picture? Next question. Okay, simplify. So I need to make the same denominator. I'll make this into a plus just like the previous question. I do that so I can actually factorize the negative. So both of them is x minus 4. Now I can actually just multiply by another x minus 4 here. That way they have the same denominator. If you combine them together, you got x minus 4 plus 3. X minus 1 over this. And that should be good. Next, angle ADC. In terms of x. Okay. There are two answers to do this. Okay. You can answer this as the angle is to be half of 3x. Okay. Angle in the center is twice of the angle in the perimeter. Or you take 180 minus by bracket 2x plus 5. Okay. 175 minus 2x. This is because that they are actually opposite of a quadrilateral inside the circle. The sum of the angle must be 180. Find x. Find x. Well, basically we are going to equate both of them together. That means x is 50. Okay, can. Next, express this as that. Okay, this is completing the square. So how do we do that? I like to put my completing the square in terms of x square, x and then constant number. I need to make sure that the constant of x square is 1 unit. Okay, now the result of the completing the square will always be x minus by 4 bracket square. This 4 is always half of this constant number that you see over there. Okay, and then you need to minus off the negative 4 bracket square. Okay, the reason, okay, this is like somewhat a formula, or if you want to understand by the reason is that if you expand the x minus 4 bracket square, right, you're gonna get a plus 16, which doesn't exist in my original. So I need to minus off the 16. Yeah, hence I got x minus 4 minus 16 plus 9, so minus 7. Okay, write down the coordinates of the turning point or the minimum point. Now the turning point is you have to let your bracket to be 0, the content. Okay, we need to say that you get x equals to 4. Okay, I'm actually talking about the expression from part A lah, because part A and part B are the same expression. Okay, you take the completed square form, the bracket equal to 0. You got the x equals 4. Use this number, put into the equation of y. Okay, then you get 4 minus 4 bracket square minus 7. You got negative 7. Next, in Singapore, Amy pays this amount of liter of diesels, and then on the visit of Hawaii, then the cost is this. Is diesel cheaper in Singapore or in Hawaii? Okay, can. There is a 1 liter and there is a 1 gallon. Okay, 1 liter equals to 1 gallon equals to this, meaning to say that she paid $4.48 US for 3.785 liters of diesel. Okay, now I want to know in that case for 1 liter how much money he needs to pay. That will be 4.48 over 3.785. Wait, 785. Okay, that will be 1.183 US dollars. Okay, for 1 liter. Now I need to convert it also. The conversion for US dollar to Singapore dollar is this. So if you want to make this into Singapore dollars, you take 1.183 times by 1.242 SGD. I got 1.47 SGD. Okay, well, that means to say that the diesel is actually cheaper in Hawaii, because in Singapore the cost is 165. One day, John used this formula to estimate the air temperature at different heights above sea level. A light aircraft records the air temperature at 0 degree. Use the formula to find the height. So 0 equals 21 minus h over 120. Move the number away and then you cross multiply. You'll get 2,520 meters. Okay, they say meters here. Two of the jet aircraft are flying at different heights. The difference of the temperature is 25 degree. Okay, can. So, how do we actually think about it? There are two temperatures that is experienced by the two jet aircraft. Each of them have the temperature. Now, let's just say that aircraft has a temperature of T1 and T2. What they are saying is that T1 minus by T2 equals 25 degree. Okay, I'm assuming that T1 is the one with the higher temperature lah, so to speak. Okay, the question asks you to find the difference between the heights. Okay, now difference between the heights is technically looking for the H1 minus by H2 or H2 minus by H1, whichever you get. Okay, it must be positive by the way, so don't put a negative lah. Okay, once you got the answer. In any case, 25 degree. Now T1, okay, I'm just using the formula from the beginning. So I just put 21 minus H1 over 120 minus 21 minus H2 over 120. So I expand it. The 21 will cancel each other, leaving me with H2 over 120 minus H1 over 120. I can collect them into the same denominator by the way. Okay, and then I cross multiply. The 120 multiplied by 25. I'll get 3,000. And there you go. This is H2 minus H1. The difference of the height is actually 3,000 meter. Next question. Yeah, this question here is also quite a confusing one. Okay, the diagram given here, you need to find out the coordinate of R. These two are congruent triangles, the same length, the same width, both of them. Okay, so yeah, I need to find the point R just by doing this. Okay, let's think about it. Now this is 63. This one is 10. This one is 46. Meaning to say that the height of the rectangle must be 36 centimeter or unit. Okay, unit. This one is also 36 then. We need to say that this coordinate here is 63, go back by 36. 27. Oops. This is 27. Okay. Meanwhile, this coordinate here must be 15 because the point P is 15, right? So then I can tell the width of the rectangle now from 15 to 27 is actually 12. This one is 12 as well. Okay, well in that case, right, to actually get into the R, right, okay, there are coordinate of X, the X coordinate of R must be 27, okay, which is what we got over here. For the height, okay, we already have 10 on the height here, and then I need to put the width of the rectangle, which is plus by 12, giving us 22. Okay, because you know the width of the rectangle is 12, just need to go up by 12 units. 27, 22. Okay, you need to show the working by doing the plus and minus lah, yeah. Next, 15. Find out the reflex angle of ABC. Okay, this is a trapezium, and is that all? I think. Yeah, I feel that is all actually. Okay, the answer here is 4 marks. Okay, there should be a lot of working. We cannot get the angle just straight away. Now, as I've always been doing when the question is about angles, right, you are not necessarily find the angle immediately. Try to complete whatever you actually can calculate. So I will take the angle ACD, 180 minus 45 minus 38, I'll get 97. Wow, okay, accident. Yes, 97 here. Okay, next, okay, this one here is a little bit difficult to notice. This is a letter U. Trapezium always have 2 parallel lines. Okay, this is a letter U, meaning to say that the sum of the angle must be 180. Now the small angle over here, okay, let's just call it theta for now. Theta plus 97 plus 38 plus 22 equals 180. Therefore, I can find the theta. 23 degree. Okay, let me erase the thing again. This is 23 degree. Yeah, then in order for us to find the angle ABC, I just take 180 minus 23 minus 34. I get 1, 2, 3. Okay, however, the question asks you to find the reflex angle, meaning to say take 360 minus by 1, 2, 3, and that will be 237. Explain why a semicircle with the length of AD as diameter does not pass point C. AD as diameter. Okay, so this is the AD here. It must not cross the point C. Why? Okay, simply is this lah. If AD is a diameter and you make a circle, right? The circle has a diameter of AD. Okay, I don't know if I actually can do that. Yeah, not really. Yeah, if AD is the diameter and C is actually in the perimeter of the circle, the angle of ACD supposed to be 90 degree by the formula of angle in the semicircle, 90 degree. Yeah, but this is 97. So, well, simply said, C is not exactly on the circle if AD is the diameter. Okay. Next, question 16. Rhombus, the length of 10 cm. So the rhombus is the one that looks like a diamond. There's a rectangle. The width is 13. Find out the circumference of the circle. I need to find the radius then. Okay. Okay, I have a plan. Okay, let's take a look closer here. I need quite a space. Okay, first I'm going to connect here. Straight line, please. Yes. Here. Okay, now since 13 here is technically the chord, okay, and 13 here I will divide by 2 because this is the chord. You connect to the center. If you have the chord and you connect to the center like that perpendicularly, right, you have a bisector of the chord. Okay, meaning to say that this is actually 13/2. This one is 10 and this one is a right angle. Okay, because I connect to the center, so it's well, gonna give you a right angle there. Okay, in any case, I want to find out what's the height of the triangle. Wait, does it actually benefit us to find the height of the triangle? Yeah, it does. Wait a minute, I just realized something. Isn't the radius is actually 10 then? The radius is actually 10. Okay, let me explain to you what was my plan before. Okay, after knowing that this one is 10 cm and your base is 13/2, I plan to actually do Pythagoras theorem to actually find out the height of this thing. Okay, so I think it's too thick. Let me use this one. It's actually too narrow. Height, this one. Okay, I want to find the height of that one, which is square root of 100 minus by 13 square over 2. 2 square also, by the way. So that will be what? Around 231 over 4. Okay, or that is 231 over 4. Now, after I found that this length over here are supposed to be also the same number, 231 over 4. You see? Now, and then after having this length to be 231 over 4, I want to connect it here. Because you see that this connection here, okay, let me use a green color. This here is actually our radius, right? This thing here is our radius. And it's actually also made by a right angle triangle. Okay, then you are going to say that the radius square equals to 13 over 2 square plus by 231 over 4 square. Okay, I don't know guys, maybe I'm actually approaching this with a difficult method. But you know what, the answer is actually 10. So the radius is actually 10. Okay? Yeah, so the radius is actually 10. To find the circumference, you just take 2 pi r. And the answer is 20 pi. Simplify into 3SF, 62.8 cm. Okay, that's the question 16. Oh, there's a B. The area of the rectangle. Okay, so we already have the length 231 over 4, right? So, okay, not the length. That one is actually just half of the length. So you take the width. Wow, it's so thick. 13 multiplied by 2 of root 231 over 4. Okay, and of course use calculator to finish it. You're gonna get somewhere around 198. Okay. The sketch shows this. The point A and B is on the graph. Find out the value of K and A. Okay, if y equals to K A negative x, you know that equation of curve or line, you can actually sub in the point that you know is on the curve. So I'm going to sub in x equals 0 and y equals 4. I'll get 4 equals K multiplied by A power of 0. A power of 0 is 1, so then K is actually 4. So then y equals to 4a power of negative x. This time around, I'm going to sub in x equals negative 2 and y equals 100. Okay, so I got 100 equals to 4 times by a power of negative 2. A square is 25 and therefore a must be plus minus 5. Okay, am I going to put down plus minus 5? Or should I just put as a plus by 5? Okay, that is a bit hard to actually just say. But you see here, okay, let me just think about it that when x equals to negative 1, right, your y will be a positive number. I have no idea what is the y, maybe 50, maybe 20, no idea. Okay, so if I have my answer as y equals to 4 times by a, let's say a is positive 5, power of negative x. Now, if I put x equals negative 1, I'm going to get 4 times by 5 power of 1, which is actually 20. Which actually kind of makes sense because you know that this point at x equals negative 1 is above point B. Okay, somewhere above point B. Now, on the contrary, if I let a to be negative 5, meaning to say I put negative 5 here, power of 1, I'm going to get the y to be negative 20. And that doesn't make sense because clearly that point at negative 1, right, is actually above point B, positive number. Okay, so I cannot say that a is actually going to be negative 5. A must be positive 5. Okay, a straight line is drawn from point A to point B. Find the equation of the line. Okay, should be quite simple. The gradient is y1 minus y2, x1 minus x2, so negative 48. Okay, then this line passed through the y-axis at 4, so y equals negative 48x plus 4. Next, prime number. Okay, 784. Okay, this is gonna be long if you're doing it this way, but well, 784 divided by 2 again. Okay, I believe all of you know how to do this lah. So you know what, I'm going to skip that tedious method. Okay, 2 power of 4 times by 7 square. Using your part A, explain why this is a perfect square. Tell them that the 784 is actually made by a multiplication of indices that has a power of even number, power of 2 and power of 4. This is tend to have a perfect square. Okay, again, all the prime numbers must have the power of 2 or multiples of 2, all of them. And question C, find a value such that you have a perfect cube. Okay, perfect cube, huh? So I take 2 power of 4 multiplied by 7 square multiplied by m divided by n. Perfect cube meaning to say that the power must be multiple of 3. Okay, so how do you make sure that you have a multiple of 3? One example, I can let m to be 7. The moment I let m to be 7, I get 7 square times by 7, I get 7 cube. And I can let my n to be equals 2. Because 2 power of 4, I divide by 2. Yeah, the n is on the denominator. If they divide each other, I'll get 2 power of 3. Now, why don't I actually just make the 2 power of 4 into 2 power of 6? Meaning to say that m equals to 2 power of 2 lo. 2 power of 4 times 2 power of 2 is 2 power of 6. Well, the problem is that if I let m to be 4, this is not a prime number. Pay attention, the question says m and n are prime numbers. So yeah, that's the reason why I don't pick the m equals 4. I have to put m to be 7. Yeah. Next, the table shows information collected by Huma about her driving. Total distance, amount of money spent per liter, consumption. Find out the total amount of Huma paid in 2015. Okay, total amount of money is 6.7 liters per 100 km. Okay, so you take 19,629 multiply by 6.7 per 100 km. Give me a moment. Times by 6.7 over 100. You get 1,315.143. And in order to find out the total money, you just take this amount, multiply by the price 2.42. I got 3,182.646. Okay, but actually you need to put into DP lah. This is a money question, so it's 6.5. Total distance traveled. The total distance traveled in 2015 is 35% more than what she drove in 2014. Okay, so meaning to say that 19,629 is equivalent to 135% of 2014. What you need is actually the 100%. Okay, meaning to say I'll take 19,629 times by 100 over 135. Okay, and then just multiply, you will get 14,540 kilometers. A map of Western Europe is this, the length of the river is this, find out the actual length. So you just need to make this into the correct unit. They are looking for the kilometers, 1 cm here. This one I make into kilometer, divide by 100,000. Okay, and then I need this to be 49.3. I do the same, multiply 1 by 49.3 over 25. Okay, that will be, well, that will be in centimeter. Oh, wait a minute. The question tells you about 49.3 cm. Okay, so this one is multiplied by 49.3. Also multiply by that. We're gonna get 1232.5. The area of the Switzerland is this. Find out the area in square centimeters. Okay, so just now cm and km is 1 to 25. If I want the area ratio, I'm going to square it. Cm square and km square, 1 and 625. The area of the Switzerland is 41,285. So what do I do to do that? Times by 41,285 over 625. I'll get 66.056 centimeter square. Next, 21. Some students were asked to estimate the mass of a sweets in a jar. Okay, the actual mass is actually 300. Find the probability that a chosen student overestimate. Okay, 300 grams is actually here, which is actually correspond to this number here. Okay, one small gap here should be 2 units. No, 4 units, my bad. Okay, if you read carefully, this one is therefore 84. Now, how many will actually overestimate? There are 200 total students. Those who overestimate is 200 minus by 84, which is 116. The probability of getting such student is therefore 116 over 200. Okay, 29 over 50. Find the number of students who give the estimates within 10% of the actual mass. Okay, 10% of the actual mass. Now the total, the actual mass is 300. 300 multiplied by 10% equals 30. So you are actually looking for the gap from 270 to 330. Yeah. Okay, reading this graph again. 270 is here. 330 is there. So this is the point and this is the other point. Okay, need to make it accurate. Okay, so over here should be 64 and that one should be 100. Okay, the number of students who actually give the estimates between 10%, there are 100 minus by 64, it will be 36 students. Okay, question 22. Measure the bearing of B from A. Okay, you know why this one you need to use your protractor. I definitely don't really have my protractor with me right now. Okay, so I just take the answer. Okay, the answer here is that this angle here is 48 degree, but since you want the bearing, it must be this whole rotation. 360 minus 48. Okay, be careful guys, always do clockwise rotation. Okay, clockwise rotation. The ship sails at average speed of 35. Find the length for which the light is visible. Okay, the light is visible only on the shaded area, so you are looking for the length from here to here. Okay, you need to find out how many cm. Okay, how many centimeter here? Okay, estimately is around 5.1 cm. Okay, which actually equals to 51 kilometer. Okay, the speed is 35 kilometer per hour. So how long is it actually passing through the 51 kilometer? 51 divided by 35, distance divided by speed, and you're going to get 116 over 35. Okay, or that is 1 hour plus by 16 over 35 hour. Make them into minutes. I mean the second fraction, make it to minutes, you times it by 60. So 1 hour and then 27 minutes. Okay, times by 60 to get the minutes unit from hour. Okay, next, vector AB. Okay, to find the length of AB, you just need to do a square root of length square plus by this thing. Okay, and that will be 17. The point C is given to be this. Well, that means that OC is 420. DC is 2 of AB. Okay, so DC is DO plus by OC. And 2 of AB, I just copy down the AB but multiply by 2. Okay, I know that vector vector OC, I move it away to the other side. So I have minus 630 minus by matrix of OC, 420. There will be negative 10 and 10. Okay, however, I want to find the vector OD, not DO. So I need to put a negative. So I'll get 10 and negative 10. The coordinate of O is therefore 10, negative 10. Okay, yeah. What type of quadrilateral is ABCD? This is a 1-mark question. You can try to draw it, but I think it will be a very long way to do it. Okay. What we know here is about the information they give us. DC and AB are parallel. Okay. So think about it that DC is here, and AB is maybe here, and not only that, the DC is actually twice the length of AB. Meaning to say that if they are parallel and one of them is actually longer than the other, this is actually the character of trapezium. Okay, the characteristics of the trapezium. Yeah. 24. Find out the fraction of the square that is not shaded. Well, that means to say I need to find the shaded area first. Okay, now I want to find the area. What do I have here so far? Okay, this looks tough. Length of BC is 2r, so this is r and r. Okay, and then because of EFGH are the midpoints. Semicircular arc, the center is O, so EFG is another one. So there are 2 arcs. Okay, the first arc is here, the one that is EFGH, that is thanks to the center of circle O, and there's another arc here, G to E, that is thanks to the center of H. Okay, so be careful, which arc are we talking about? There are 2 arcs and 2 different centers, therefore. Length of HG is square root of 2 times r. Okay, find out the area of the shaded and then find the fraction. Okay, let's see, what can we do here? If I want to find the shaded area, right, I think I need to see this part here. Okay, that is the segment. Okay, the segment area of OEG or GOE, okay, is sector GHE minus by triangle GHE. Okay, so the sector is actually just 1/4 of circle, and the triangle is half AB, half times base times height. Since this is 90 degree here, right, the base and the height actually is GH and HE. So I just need to multiply these two together. I got 1/4 pi and then √2 of r bracket square. Okay, the radius is √2 r, remember, minus by 2/2 r square. Yeah, square root 2 times square root 2 divided by 2. You get 2/2, which is 1. Simplify this, I get half pi r square minus by r square. That's the segment. Now, okay, I have the segment GOE, cool, but I need the shaded area. So the shaded area, I need to find out the semicircle minus by segment that I got just now. So then, okay, in that case, right, I need to know what is the GO, because GO is therefore the radius of the circle, the semicircle. Okay, the length of GE, first of all, is actually by doing Pythagoras theorem, 2r square plus by 2r square. Okay, I'm using the right angle triangle of GHE. That will be 2r. Wow. Oh yeah, it is 2r. I don't need to do that because this is r also, right? Because of the square. Yeah, overthinking it. Alright, I got 2 pi r square minus half pi r square plus by r square. So then I get 3 over 2 pi r square plus by r square. Okay, let me check if I actually did anything wrong. Okay, I noticed something wrong. GE is the diameter of the semicircle, meaning to say that I shouldn't use 2r square here, it should be just r square. Hi, this is half then. Okay, which means that they will cancel each other, leaving you with the shaded area just r square only. Okay, that was close. Anyway, that's the shaded area. So, not shaded. Okay, not shaded area must be the square, which is 2r bracket square, you know, length times length, minus by the shaded area. That will be 3r square. So, which fraction it is that is not shaded? 3r square over 4r square, 3/4. That's the answer. Alrighty. 25. Quadrilateral vectors and everything. Write down in terms of A and C. Okay, get the vector OP. Okay, OP is here. Okay, the ratio of AP is 4 units and PC is 1 unit. If I want OP, I just take OC plus by CP. OC is simple, just 5C. But CP is actually 1 over 5 of CA. Okay, and how do I get CA? I just take CO plus OA. That is a negative 5C plus by 5A. I simplify this, I'll get 5C minus C and then plus by A. Yeah. PQ. Okay, I need to go from P to Q. Alright, that is quite a journey here. I can take PO first, plus by OA. Okay, the directions you see guys, from P to O, then continue from O to A, and then from A to Q. That's how I do it. Okay, I know the AQ already, so that would be quite nice. PO is a negative of OP, so I just need to take the OP just now, but put an extra negative here. Plus by OA, OA being 5A, and then AQ, that is the 4A plus 8C. 8A plus by 12C. Oh wait, why did I put a negative here? So then I get 4C. Yeah, 8A plus 4C. Next, explain why PQ and CB are parallel. Okay, PQ is this, and then CB is 10A plus 5C. Now, both of them can be factorized. If I factorize 4, then I get 2A plus C. This one, I factorize the 5, I get 2A plus by C. And that's why they are actually parallel. In any case, find out the ratio of CB to PQ. Well, we can see here that both of them have the same vector, and the constant outside is actually 4 and 5. So, the ratio of CB to PQ is just 5 to 4. Okay. Yes, and that's it guys. Okay, I will upload the paper 2 soon enough. Okay, hopefully by tomorrow. Okay, see when I can upload it. I will upload it soon. Alright, until then, keep practicing and I'll see you on the next video. Leave a comment below if you actually see any careless mistakes. Alright, see you then. Bye bye.